of satisfaction for all living entities. Purport: when the living entity is born with this material, within this material world, especially as a human being, he has several obligations unto the demigods, unto the saintly persons, and unto living entities in general. As enjoined in the Shastras, Devarshi Bhutapta Nranam Pitrinam. Thus one has an obligation to one's forefathers, the previous hierarchy. Lord Shiva prays to Lord Aniruddha to give him strength so he can become free from all obligations to the pittas, demigods, general living entities, and saintly persons, and completely engage himself in the devotional service of the Lord. As stated, Devarshi Bhutapta Nranam Pitrinam Nakinkuro Naim Rini Charajan Sarvatmana Ya Sharanam Sharanyam Kato Mukundam Parihritya Kartam. One becomes free from all obligations to the demigods, saintly persons, pittas, ancient forefathers, etc. if one is completely engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. Lord Shiva therefore prays to Lord Aniruddha to give him strength so that he can be free from such obligations and entirely engaged in the Lord's service. Yes. Nakinkaram, one is no longer indebted. No, Nakinkara na ayam rini charajan. One no longer has a debt to the demigods or to the saintly persons or to one's parents or anyone. If one is engaged in the service, if one takes shelter of Krishna, who's worthy of shelter. Soma, or the predominating deity of the moon, is responsible for the living entity's ability to relish the taste of food through the tongue. Lord Shiva prays to Lord Aniruddha to give him strength so that he will not taste anything but the prasad of the Lord. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has sung a verse indicating that the tongue is the most formidable enemy among all the senses. If one can control the tongue, he can easily control the other senses. The tongue can be controlled only by eating prasad offered to the deity. Lord Shiva's prayer to Lord Aniruddha is meant for this purpose. Tripti Daya, he prays to Lord Aniruddha to help him be satisfied by eating only prasad offered to the Lord. Could you hand me the Bhagavatam book over there? The Lord is the provider of satisfaction. He's the provider of Pitri Lokas. He's the predominator of the moon. Again, Srila Baladev Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has these respects offered to these such demigods. I offer respects to the form of offering, to the form of offerings to the Pitris, Urje, the form of offerings to the Devatas, Ishe, to the moon, Yagyaretase. O moon Devata, purify me of debts to the Devatas and sages and engage my mind in bhakti. The moon is the deity of the mind. Purify my energy, non-different from the moon. I offer respects to you. Though already the mind had been purified by offering respects to the Upasya deity, for worship of the mind, aniruddha. Because the mind is difficult to control, he again purifies the mind by offering respects to the presiding deity of the mind, the moon, Jayādvaita. After purifying the energy in the form of the sun, fire, and moon, by offering respects to them in the form of energy, he offers respects to the moon as the form of taste, to purify taste in the tongue. O Devata of taste, make my tongue taste the sweetness of things related to you. Purify my daily water. I offer respects to you. But certainly Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is not recommending that we separately approach Anya Devata. But all of these deities are servants of Krishna, or they're representatives of Krishna himself. In the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, this is stated by Arjuna. Let's see. Vayur yamognir Varuna Shashanka Prajapatis Tvam Prapitamahascha Namo Namastestu Sahasrakritva Punaschapu Yopi Namo Namaste. Toward the end of the 11th chapter, Arjuna offers his respects to the universal form. Your Agni, your Vayu, your Yamaraj, your Varuna, you're the moon, you're the Prajapatis, you're Brahma, you're everything. Sarvam samapnosi tatosi sarva. You're the unlimited source of everything. So when we find this from time to time in Bhagavatam, that various deities are being offered respects, sometimes as though they were the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we're meant to understand that in such instances, it's the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself who's represented in the form of the sun, the moon, and so on. Just as we're accustomed to worship the spiritual master, because the spiritual master represents the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Not that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but representing the Lord. Even we find that it's the Vedic custom to offer respects to the father, the mother. They're also considered representatives of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the king is also considered representative of the Supreme Lord. So these various government officers, Agni, Soma, they're all respected as representatives of the Lord. And they're being offered prayers. Please purify my mind. Please purify my senses so that I can engage in the service of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada particularly highlights the need for controlling the tongue among all the senses, dharma jivati, ati lobamoy, suduramati. Dharma jivati, lobamoy, suduramati. The tongue is very greedy, and controlling the tongue is very difficult. But Krishna Bharadayamai. Krishna is very kind. He's given Krishna Prasadam, so we should take advantage of the mercy of the Lord and very strictly stick to accepting Krishna prasadam, not eat food offered, cooked by the non-devotees. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that by eating food offered, cooked by the non-devotees, one becomes wicked-minded. So, simple thing, just take Krishna prasadam. That will control the tongue. Otherwise, the tendency is, let me go here and taste this, taste that, taste this, taste that, sample this, sample that, get a little of this, get a little of that. Come on, enjoy. Come on, enjoy. Every place there's a food offering. Come on, enjoy this, enjoy that. But the devotee says, no, I just can't do that. My program is to honor the Krishna prasadam. It's just by that principle one purifies the tongue and controls the tongue. Hare Krishna.
Nothing. No, nothing in the chat.
Okay.
Venkatesh Prabhu just can't speak today.
Okay. Sarva Sattvatma Dehaya Visheshaya Staviyase Namastri Lokyapalaya Saha Ojo Balaya Cha. My dear Lord, you are the gigantic universal form, which contains all the individual bodies of the living entity, of the living entities. You are the maintainer of the three worlds, and as such, you maintain the mind, senses, body, and air of life within them. I therefore offer my respectful obeisance unto you. Purport: as the individual body of the living entity is composed of millions of cells, germs, and microbes, the universal body of the Supreme Lord similarly contains all the individual bodies of the living entities. Lord Shiva is offering his obeisances to the universal body, which includes all other bodies, so that everyone's body may fully engage in devotional service. Since this individual body is composed of senses, all the senses should be engaged in devotional service. For instance, the smelling instrument, the nose, can engage in smelling the flowers offered to the lotus feet of the Lord. Hands can engage in cleaning the temple of the Lord, etc. Indeed, being the life air of every living entity, the Lord is the maintainer of the three worlds. Consequently, he can induce every living entity to engage in his real life's duty with full bodily and mental strength. Thus, every living entity should serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead by his prana, life, artha, wealth, intelligence, and words. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Etavad janma sapalyam dehinami dehishu pranarartar dhyavacha shreya achanam sada. Even though one may desire to engage in the service of the Lord, without sanction one cannot do so. Lord Shiva is offering his prayers in so many different ways in order to show living entities how to engage in the devotional service of the Lord. Let's read Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary again. I offer my respects to the body containing the souls of all living beings, tattva, and to the gross universal form, staviyase. O embodiment of the earth, stimulate my nose to smell the fragrance of the Lord. The earth is the sense connected, is the element connected to smell. So embodiment of earth, stimulate my nose to smell the fragrance of the Lord and engage my body in your service. I offer respects to the protector of the three worlds, the life air, entering the mind, senses, and body as Saha, Ojas, and Bala. Make them function properly. O Devata of air, stimulate my touch to feel the softness of your body. Make my mind, senses, and body suitable for worshiping you. I offer my respects to you. When Srila Prabhupada translates that verse, Rishikena Rishikesha Sevana, often he translates it, one should engage one's purified senses in the service of the master of the senses. So the senses become purified. It's a, what would you say, a iterative process. Purify the senses by engaging them in the service of the Lord, and continue to engage the still more purified senses in the service of the Lord. Progressive purification. So here, the Lord's universal body is offered prayers. The body, the form that includes all the bodies of the living entities. The Lord is the maintainer of the three worlds, so he can induce everyone to engage in this prayers. And Prabhupada quotes Pranayartar Diya Vacha, Shreya Acharanam Sada. One should perform auspicious activities, particularly devotional service, always with one's pran, one's life, one's money, one's intelligence, one's words. And Prabhupada explains, if possible, we should engage our full life. If that's not possible, engage our money in Krishna's service. No, I have no money. All right. Engage your intelligence in Krishna's service. I'm not very intelligent. All right, just repeat the transcendental sentence found in these books, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. All right. Anything else here?
Praveen Prabhu offered the quote from Chaitanya Charitamrita related to the prasadam here.
Ya Vishayir Anna Koile Molina Hoy Mon. Molina Mon Hoyle Nahe Krishna Smaran. Vishayir Anna Hoy Rajasa Nimantran. Data Bhokta Duhar Molina Hoy Mon. When one eats food offered by a materialistic man, one's mind becomes contaminated. And when the mind is contaminated, one is unable to think of Krishna. When one accepts an invitation from a person contaminated by the material mode of passion, the person who offers the food and the person who accepts it are both mentally contaminated. Yes. There's also another place Dushta hoima, Vishayir. Maybe you'll find that one. Could be. That's also Chaitanya Charitamrita. The point is made more than once. We shouldn't pollute our consciousness by eating food offered in hotels. Prabhupada said in India, a hotel is not necessarily a place of lodging. It may or may not be, but main point is that one gets food there. It's an eatery, a place where you get some food. Hotel. Just as here we have, what do we have? Cafes, and there's cafes and bistros and restaurants and delicatessens and all these kinds of places, food stalls. So we shouldn't eat food prepared by for sense gratification in such places. And Prabhupada says airlines, also airplanes. The food cooked and offered in the airplanes is just cooked for sense gratification. That should be avoided. Hare Krishna.
Murari Gupta Prabhu writes, Hare Krishna Maharaj, does purified senses mean not enjoying the senses? How is that possible? The senses only exist to give enjoyment.
Yeah. One time I asked Prabhupada, I said to Srila Prabhupada, we were in Detroit. I said, and I'd been traveling with Satsuru Maharaj to different colleges. I said, Srila Prabhupada, it's so hard to convince the students to give up sense gratification. And Prabhupada said, we don't say give up, but regulate. We don't say don't eat. And if you eat, don't taste. No. Taste. But don't taste rubbish. Taste nectar. We don't say at all, don't taste. You read Chaitanya Charitamrita, how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was encouraging his devotees to taste Krishna Prasadam. Why? It's been tasted by Krishna. It's been tasted by Krishna. So when you taste this prasadam, you'll become Krishna conscious. So what is that? Savai Mana Krishna Padada Vindya Vachamsi Vaikunta Gunarna Varnane. Prabhupada indirectly cited the verse in the previous purport. We don't say don't think. The Buddhists don't think of anything. Thinking, the rascal mind always wants to think of something. No, empty the mind. No. Think of Krishna. And you want to talk of Krishna. You want to see something, see the beautiful deity of Krishna. You want to taste, yes, taste the food offered to Krishna. You want to touch the bodies of the devotees. But we don't at all say, no, stop all the senses. Don't let that sense enjoy. No. But regulate it. Don't go to the shops and look for something tasty for the tongue. Just be happy taking Krishna Prasadam, honoring Krishna Prasadam. So we don't say stop, but we say regulate. Okay. Excuse me?
Even though one may desire to engage in the service of the Lord without sanction, one cannot do so.
Even though one may desire to engage in the service of the Lord without sanction, one cannot do so. Yeah, we might want to do something, but we can't do anything unless Krishna helps us. Even we may want to enjoy sense gratification. We can't do that unless Krishna helps us. Nothing is possible without the approval and help of the Supreme Lord. He is the maintainer. None of the senses won't work without Krishna. Nothing is possible without Krishna. So it's humility also. I'll engage in the service of the Lord. No, you have to take permission from the Lord to serve him. I'll serve the king. King has to give you permission. I don't think you. I was talking with, well, it's a little bit too far away as an example, but if you get permission, just like, who is that? The getting Draupadi that Arjuna has to string the great bow. So first he offers obeisances. Everybody's trying to just directly make it happen. But no, Lord Shiva's bow. So he's offering respect. The materialist thinks he can just buy his way in. Can just buy his way in. He's got enough money, then you'll just say, okay. It's not necessarily like that. If one comes with a humble attitude, then you're accepted. Of course, money may buy my way into so many things, but it won't buy my way into the spiritual world. Here's my money. I've given $1 million to the church. No. Where's your heart? No, my heart is in false prestige and reputation. All right. Be happy with your false prestige and reputation. But if you want to actually be admitted to the realm of pure devotional service, then that requires humility. What is that? Amanitva, dambitva, himsa. This is the process of knowledge. It begins with humility. Well, humility means I'm not in control, you're in control. Please engage me. Please admit me. Please allow me to engage in devotional service. It's like the guru. Guru shouldn't accept someone as a disciple because he's got a lot of money. Oh, if I accept this person as a disciple, then I'll get money. You become humble, and you can become a disciple. Money, no money. Not that, well, I've got this, I've got that. When there's humility, then the Lord or the spiritual master may accept us. So it requires permission. The same thing was there at Kurukshetra. Arjuna begins by offering obeisances, shooting an arrow at the feet of Dronacharya, the spiritual master. Please give me permission to fight. And Dronacharya shot an arrow, grazing his head. Yes, you got my blessings. So everything is possible by the blessings of the Lord, not just by borrowed, temporarily acquired assets.
Okay, one last comment before Kirtan. Venkatesh Prabhu. Looks like we have a quote from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Life without love is useless and poor, they say. Appoint me in thy service, O Lord, with love as my pay. For Kirtan, Shamsindhu Prabhu, are you available?
Looks like he's available. What do you say, Shamsun?
Hare
Okay, let me set this so that you get the right audio. Okay,
Am I audible?
I think so.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajaka Stotra Shri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Anant Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jayādvaita Gadadhar Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kundi Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Navadip Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Jamana Mai Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Prem Hari Hari Bol.
His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami Ki Jai.
Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.